Hi, Eric Gibault, ericgibault.com, and today, thanks to photosfera.com, I'm going to present you the Sony A6100. Let's start. So, I had already made several reviews of A6000 series cameras by Sony. The A6000, that was the one just before this one. I'll leave you a link here of the review. Also the 6400, also leave you a link here. And then one of lower level, which is the A5100, I'll also leave you the link here. Well, Sony in the 6000 series, it's organized this way. It's a bit strange and confusing because Sony makes new model, but they still sell the older one, so people are really confused. Well, the 6100 replaces the 6000, although you can still buy it. The 6400 replaces the 6300, although you can still buy it too. And the 6600 replaces the 6500, although you can still buy it too. Okay, so basically this one is the entry level of the 6000 series. The 6400 is the middle level, the mid-level, and then the 6600 is the top level. 6600 is a stabilized body and also a metal body. This one is plastic and no stabilization, and this is not dust-proof, this is not weatherproof, okay? But basically this is the difference between one and the others. Well, there are more differences, but I mean the aspect or the range are defeated. Okay, this is a mirrorless camera, as you can see. No mirror here. Don't try to do that because you may get dust in there. So this is just a demo camera, so no problem. This is APS-C format, and the resolution is 24.2 megapixel. The mount is the E mount. You know that Sony has A mount and E mount. The A mount comes from Minolta, but they do less and less for that series. So E mount is what you find on these cameras and also on the A7, A9, all this. This is that mount. The autofocus is really good, 425 points, although I use always, most of the time, only one, but if you want to do action photography and you want to have continuous focusing that follows everything, it's really good to have so many points that cover almost all the sensors, so this is really good. It is a phase detection system, not the contrast one, so this is really good. It works really fine. You have also face and eye detection, and also animal eye detection. It means if you have your dog or you do animal photography, you also have a detection of their eyes, which is a big plus. So during the video I'll show you some pictures, by the way, maybe you already saw some, and some videos I made to illustrate the explanation, the review, and also to show you what I could do with it. And although that most of the time technical picture more than great pictures, but well, to have fun with it and give you my sensation, my impression, what I think about it. Okay, let's speak about the screen. This is a tiltable screen this way, 180 degrees. And now some people are going to say, what are you saying, Eric? You have an accessory for what you said? Yeah, stop. Okay. When you put your camera like this for vlogging, by the way, here's on a sample of vlogging I made with my daughter Pino, okay? Now with Pino doing some vlogging style. The sound is from the microphone, of the camera microphone. Say adiós, Pino, escucha. Adiós, adiós. Mira aquí, mira. Di adiós, adiós. If you want to put a microphone on the hot shoe, then it will cover the screen. And then people tell me, yes, but there are some accessories so you can put the microphone on the side. I never said there was no accessory. I said that if you put the microphone here, you cover the screen. It means that if you put an accessory, the camera is larger and you have to pay for something extra. But this is just a fact. It's not because I'm against it, I'm in favor. This is what there is. Okay. Some people don't like that kind of screen. They prefer to have the flip screen on the side. Many people who do photography only, don't do video, they prefer this than the flip side. And people are against one or against the other. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you what there is here. This is the way it works. This is a touchable screen, Sony style or Olympus style. It means you can focus with your finger. You can actually trigger with your finger, but you cannot navigate the menus with your fingers. You have to go to the button. Why? I don't know. Okay, but this is what there is. So you know it. Let's speak about the ISO. Well, Sony is famous for doing very high ISO with not much noise. So let's check this one. The native one goes from 100 up to 32,000 ISO, and you can force it up to 51,200 ISO. Well, honestly, Sony doesn't disappoint on this one. Up to 6400, I think pictures are fine. Then on 12,800 you need, then on 12,800 you need some bit of cleaning of the noise, but that's usable. And then that becomes really more damage, a lot more noisy. But this is still better than some full frame to get clean 6400 ISO. I think that's okay. So it's as usual. Normally you get the maximum native ISO, you take 2 stops and you get more or less what will be clean, and it's still the same thing. So if although they put 32,000, if it was 25,800, well, 2 stops less is 6400 and that's clean. So that's doesn't disappoint. That's okay. Hi Sony, my friend Sony. Battery 380 pictures on one battery charge. I always claim 500 minimum. This is not much, and surprisingly, if you use the screen instead of the viewfinder, you get up to 420 pictures. On the viewfinder, you get 380. Well, why? I don't know. Obviously, the viewfinder consumes more energy. Okay. On video, you will get from 70 to 75 minutes on one charge. But what I really complain again and again about Sony, Fujifilm, Olympus on the OMD 10, also they've done it. They don't put you a proper charger. Well, Fujifilm don't even put a charger, they just put a cable, okay? But in this case, they put the typical charger. You have to plug into the camera to charge a battery. It means if you use, like many photographers, your camera with 2 batteries, you cannot be using your camera while and go around making pictures and leaving the battery charging at home or at the hotel. If you want that, you need to buy an extra charger to place the battery in the charger. So I don't like it. I don't understand it. I don't know why they do that. Please put a proper charger. I won't get tired of telling it. A real charger, you place the battery in there because you want to keep shooting going around while the battery is charging at home. The good thing is you can actually have the charger plugged in the camera and use the camera. It means if you're at home or in a studio making video in a place where you can you have a socket, you could be using your camera while it's charging. Okay, but still, put me a proper charger, please. There is a dust cleaning system, which is really welcome. Well, most cameras have nowadays, but this camera is not sealed, so that's good to have a proper dust cleaning. Okay. It does RAW 14 bits depth of color. Many people still think, I don't know why, because for over 3-4 years it's not right anymore. Not only full frame camera do 14 bits. Nowadays every APS-C camera does 14 bits depth of color. Only Micro Four Thirds does 12. Okay, so you have 14 bits. Okay, if you don't want to process or make special look of your picture, give a special looks to your picture on post-production, you have special effect and creative style in this camera, so you can do it directly. Something that is really common nowadays, but you have it here. Okay, it does HDR. Many people confuse HDR with tone mapping. HDR is not these crazy color pictures, which I feel they are horrible, but matter of taste of everyone. Okay, or of each person. Okay, but HDR is you really get a higher dynamic range. It means that the highlights won't be burnt and the dark part, the shadows, won't be completely black. It means you get really higher dynamic range. You can do it in camera. Now what I'm going to tell is really important, because this is probably the most English speaking video I've got in my channel, is explaining how Sony organize the PAL and NTSC format in their camera. On my Olympus, I've got all the speed I can record, okay, all the frame rate I want. In this one, no. It means if I am NTSC, I will get 4K in 30 and 24p and Full HD in 120, 60, 30 and 24p. If I wanted to be in PAL format, I would have 4K in 25p and Full HD in 150 and 25p. It means, like, sometimes people contact and say, I don't have 24p. I want 20 frames per second. I don't get it. He said, yeah, you need to be on NTSC. Oh, and they didn't know that. But hold on, there is a big problem. If you're making pictures and all of a sudden you say, oh, I want to make video now. Oh, I want to be in 24p. Let's go to NTSC. This will format your card, your memory card. It means you will lose everything. So this is really important that you decide beforehand if you want to work with such frame rates, because if you format halfway, you will if you change halfway, you will format the card and you lose everything. So or you change cards, or make sure you have it before, because otherwise you will lose everything. And if you don't find the frame rate you want, it's because your area is in 60 Hertz electricity frequency or 50 Hertz. So automatically it will decide if you want NTSC or PAL, and you have to change it. And when you change it, you need to make sure you're not going to lose everything. Slow motion. It does slow motion 125p in NTSC or 100 frame per second in PAL. Which is great. It's 4 times slower than the typical 30 frame per second or 25 frame per second. I'll show you a sample that works really nice. I like it. Memory card. It's placed here. Okay, it's a dual memory card. I don't know who uses memory stick by Sony anymore, but still, you can use SD card or memory stick if you have. Okay. Bracketing. It does all kind of bracketing, the typical exposure, white balance, all this. Okay, every camera does it now, so it does it also. You have scene mode. If you don't know how to make pictures and you're not sure how to configure your camera, the setting, all this, you can pick like it's landscape, portrait, macro, or many things. It will configure for you the camera, the basic settings, so it works for it. Okay, that's fine. The great thing about mirrorless is you can actually see how the exposure is before triggering the camera. So to be able to see how the highlights are and the shadows are, there are several systems. Olympus, for example, makes color zone, but most of other brands, they make zebra in one color for highlights, another color for shadows, and this does also the zebra, so that's great. You can also do focus picking. It means when you're going to manual focus, you will see exactly where the focus is being made. So if you use your autofocus lens and you pass it on manual, that's useful. But also it's really useful if you use manual lenses, like later 7 Artisan, TT Artisans that made that kind of lenses for many brands, okay? But also if you want to use vintage lenses with adapter, you will be able to know exactly where the focus is being made. So this is really great. That's a good advantage of mirrorless. Time-lapse. Many vlogger or people who go traveling, they want also to do time-lapse. You can make picture from 1 to every 60 seconds, and you can make from 1 to 9,999 pictures. That makes me laugh. One picture, then it's not a time-lapse, it's one picture, okay? But anyway, you can, okay? Speed from 30 seconds up to 1/4000th of a second plus bulb mode. I think that's fine for that kind of camera. Then you can also have a silent mode. It goes for electronic shutter, and then you won't hear the sound of the shutter. Flash. You have a small flash, integrated flash here, okay? So small, I don't think it's really usable. That's fine to save your life. If you don't have any other option, you save the picture, you get it. But honestly, this is not, that's okay to trigger another flash maybe, but to use proper light, you won't be of much help, okay? And also because the recycle time is really long at full power, it takes 4 seconds. So it means you're making pictures of your kid's birthday, you see the cake that arrives, make a picture, and probably when it's ready to shoot again, it's blown the candle. So that's too late. So I think 4 seconds is really too long. So in this case, you will probably need to use an external flash. You put on the hot shoe here, and that would be okay. Speaking about flash, the flash synchro is really low. It's 1/160th of a second. It's slow. I would prefer to have 200th of a second or 250th of a second. 1/160th of a second I think is too low. But for that kind, the market they aim this camera to will accept it, okay? Burst rate, you can make 11 frames per second. I think this is great. for this little camera, that's fine. It means that if you have if you're doing animal photography using the animal eye detect, and you want to make some quick picture, that's fine. 11 frames per second. I would not expect that on that kind of camera. That's fine. Connectivity. Well, Sony, my friend Sony, what are you doing, man? USB, but micro USB. I mean, this camera is 2 years old or 1.5 years old. I mean, why don't you have a USB-C? Why? Most people, they have USB-C cable at home, and although you have this funky charger, put a USB-C nowadays. I don't understand why not. Or you have mini HDMI also. You have NFC. I don't know who uses NFC anymore. It means when you place a camera against, for example, a smartphone that has NFC, it will transfer the file directly. I had that on a Samsung. I used it once. I thought it was funny, but never use it again. So I would not miss it, but it's there. You have Wi-Fi and also Bluetooth, and also a microphone jack. This is 3.5, okay, millimeter. So this is the difference between this one and the A6000 that didn't have a microphone jack. And this is really good because I don't know if you know, but when you do video, if you use the internal microphone, every time you touch a camera or the zoom is moving or the autofocus is moving, you will probably hear it, okay? So it's really better to have external microphone, and for that you need a way to connect it. So that's it. They've put it, at last they've put it, okay? The weight is really good, 396 grams, so it's not too heavy. I mean, without the lens, obviously, but it's not too heavy, okay? So I like this small camera. The grip is really nice here. It fits perfect in my hand. And also here, there is a thumb rest, okay? That's really fine. What I'm not convinced about is that here I've got the speed, and here I've got the aperture, or the other way around. You can configure it. I mean, that's several buttons you can actually configure. But what I don't like is on the wheel mode, the grip is really nice. You really hold it nice. But this one is really too fine. So I would have make it the other way around. The one to change aperture, I would have put it like a grip better on the wheel, okay? And also another thing I don't like is the way the record button is placed. If you are making video this way, you really have to put your thumb out to press it, and this means that really your camera goes like this. And if you're actually vlogging, if you hold in your left hand, that's fine. You press with your index, okay, that's fine. Point finger, that's fine. But if you hold with the other way, or if you had some kind of I don't know what, and you wanted to press with the other hand, it's not placed properly. I mean, anyway, it's not easy to find. I would prefer to have it on the top, okay? But well, that's not a major problem, okay? It's just a matter of taste and getting used to it, okay? So what is the big problem with this camera? Because there is a big problem, but luckily not for the user. A big problem for Sony. Why? Because this camera is great, and it's actually cheaper than the 6400. And what has the 6400 that doesn't have this one? Well, the 6400 has the S-Log format for video. It means if you want to colorize your video in post-production, you need this flat profile, and on the 6400 you have it, and not on this one. But let's be honest, what is the percentage of people who actually colorize their video in post-production? Not high. And people who really do that, who really do higher level video, very often they don't use that kind of camera anyway. So buy this extra for the S-Log. You have to evaluate if it's worth it or not. Not for me, okay? Second, the viewfinder is better on the 6400 and the 6600. I didn't try the 6600 yet, but they are the same viewfinder. So this viewfinder, yes, it's really lower level. But honestly, I'm not an objective person for that, because once you've used a Leica M camera, that when you look in the viewfinder is like seeing without anything, like if there was no camera, like looking at unopened windows. Every viewfinder after that will look bad to you, even if it's a reflex camera, even if it's a mirrorless camera, it will look bad. So for me, it's just an indication that my framing is fine and my composition is fine. So I don't have this need of seeing exactly as if I had no camera between my eye and the scene. So I'm not objective for that, but yes, I must say the viewfinder is not as good. So, do I recommend this camera? I think this is a great camera. I say honestly, for the price, for what it gives, this is a fantastic camera. And probably the best camera Sony is offering in APS-C, because for the price, quality, this is great. The only thing is, if you do pictures in a situation of really a lot of dust or humidity, then you will have to think of a higher level camera, because you would like to have something better protected, or something metal, full metal, or things like this, okay? But otherwise, this camera is great. And same as I recommended the A6000, I really recommend the A6100. This is a fantastic camera, not just for beginners, for many people who can do many things with this camera. I think, yeah, I fully recommend it. So, thank you, Photosura, for lending me the camera. Thanks to you for seeing the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the small button down here, and also small bell. If you click on the bell, get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. I'll also leave you links of my gear on Amazon, links to other parts of my YouTube channel, and also a link to my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.